Okay, so that you will be prepared for the data literacy assignment, I'm going to explain, I'll give you an example so that you know kind of what to look for when you complete your own assignment. So this is not your data, but this is just an example. So this is a high school, and you can see the total students. It's broken down by different groups. This is what the state chooses to break down. So those who are economically disadvantaged, the different ethnic groups that are indicated in the state data, male and female. LEP is limited English proficient. So these are students who don't speak English as their first language and may not speak English well. And then special education, those students who are in the special education program. So these are how the state breaks the different groups down. Total students indicates the total of students in each of those groups to the left. The raw score is the actual number of questions that they got correct. And you can tell by percent score. So if 46 is about half, there were probably 55 or so questions total. The scale score is that converted score. This is the percent correct. Satisfactory is the percent who passed, and then advanced is the top 5%. So this is the number of students who scored or outperformed 95% of the other students. So really this passing is what's most important in looking at data, but these other numbers give us some more information. So looking just at first, the economically disadvantaged students, you can see if you subtract 174 from 221, you only get around 50 students. So there's a large part of the school is economically disadvantaged. Maybe about 50 or so are not economically disadvantaged. And that's pretty representative of the whole school. So the school only received 64% pass rate, 60% pass rate for the economically disadvantaged. So since there's 50 students not represented here, you can see that that did pull down. So that might be one recommendation, is to target some interventions for those who are economically disadvantaged, because it is a large part of the school's population, and it does seem from this number and these other numbers that those who are economically disadvantaged are a large percentage of students who are not passing, or maybe pulling down that pass rate. So when you look at the different ethnic groups, you can see, there's not a lot of American Indian. That student did pass, which is good. So probably nothing to note there. Same thing with Asian students. There's only 5 of them. They also had a 100% pass rate, and 80% received the advanced rating. So I guess 4 of the 5. But there is a large number of Black, African American, Hispanic, white students that might be worth looking at. So when you look at the pass rates, these are kind of the lower pass rates. So for the African American and Black students, they have a 59% pass rate. So comparing that to the whole school, again, that number, especially since there's 69 students of the 221, that's a large group, are African American. These students may need, we may provide a recommendation that they get some additional help. And then same thing with the Hispanic students, compared to the overall pass rate, it's a little bit lower. But again, it's a large group of students. So making some kind of recommendation to look at the Black, African American, and Hispanic students. Some special kind of intervention might be necessary. And then comparing male to female, there's about an even number of males versus females. Those students, it seems that the females outperform the males. However, it seems that a larger number of the males than females actually did better, were in the top 5%. So maybe the male students, there's a group of male students who did really well and then a group of male students who did not do well. So even though they have a high percentage of advanced pass rate, they, overall were scored lower than the females. So it may be worth looking at those lower performing males and finding out what might need to be done. As far as LEP students, there's only 9, and they had a 40% pass rate, for the 9 students, but 22% were high. So kind of similar to what we talked about with the males, a large number didn't pass, but a large number did well. So that's going to mean that there's some that did really well and part of this overall group that did not. So maybe finding those, 4 or 5 students who, again, may be representative of the male students or the Hispanic students or something else. So at least finding out who those few students are. And then finally, for the special ed indicator, this is your lowest pass rate of all your groups, which again may be represented in multiple. They may be female, they may be 2 or more races, they may be economically disadvantaged, but looking at our 17 special ed students, they only have a 35% pass rate. None of them scored in the top 5%. So this is definitely a group, because it is larger, definitely a group that you would want to provide an intervention. So that's what's going to be for your recommendations. Just base it on the data. And then in the first part, describe what a raw score is, describe what a scale score is, percent satisfactory advanced, to help me know that you have an understanding of those different types of scores. So hopefully this video has been helpful and you feel prepared to complete your assignment.